People get tired of being tired. They get tired of seeing their hard-earned money disappear before the month even begins. They get tired of living under the weight of debt, stress, and that never-ending cycle of just surviving. Maybe you felt it too. You wake up every morning, work hard, maybe even harder than most people and yet when the bills come, when that car breaks down, or when a medical emergency hits, suddenly you realize you're not as secure as you thought. That sinking feeling of, how did I get here? That's not just you. That's most of the world today. But here's the good news, you don't have to stay there. You can change your entire financial life, and it starts with understanding something simple. Not easy, but simple. 7 steps that have transformed millions of lives. 7 baby steps that will show you how to take control of your money, your future, and your peace of mind. Now, I know what you might be thinking. 7 steps? Come on, it can't be that simple. But let me tell you something it is. And I'm not talking about some fancy investment trick or some magic formula. I'm talking about principles that work every single time you work them. See, money is not a math problem, it's a behavior problem. If it were just about numbers, we'd all be rich. But the problem is we let emotions, habits, and impulses drive our financial lives. And the truth is, when you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. That's why these steps are so powerful. Because they give you clarity, structure, and direction when life feels chaotic. They give you a game plan. And when you've got a plan, you can finally breathe again. I've seen people go from broke to millionaires. Not because they won the lottery, but because they finally got intentional. They stopped blaming the economy, the government, their boss, or their past. They looked in the mirror and said, I'm the problem, but I'm also the solution. That's when change begins. That's when hope starts to grow. You see, hope is not some fuzzy feeling. Hope is having a plan. Hope is looking at your bank account and knowing exactly what to do next. Hope is realizing that you can win because you finally have a roadmap. And these 7 steps, they're that roadmap. They're not flashy. They're not complicated, but they work every single time. Now, before we dive into the steps themselves, I want to talk about mindset because that's where everything starts. You can't fix your finances with the same mindset that broke them. You've got to get mad. You've got to get sick and tired of being broke. You've got to draw that line in the sand and say, I'm done. I'm not living like this anymore. That's where it starts. I've met people who earn 6 figures and are still broke. I've met people earning $25,000 a year who live debt-free and peaceful. It's not about the amount. It's about the attitude. It's about how you manage what you have, not how much you make. Because the truth is, if you can't handle a little, you won't handle a lot. The first key to winning is hope and clarity. Because when you've been buried under debt or stuck in survival mode, it's hard to even see the way out. You might feel lost. You might feel like the hole is too deep. But the beauty of this process is that it gives you light at the end of the tunnel. You don't have to fix everything overnight. You don't have to climb out of that hole in one leap. You just have to take one baby step at a time. You can't run a marathon without taking the first step. You don't pay off $100 of debt without paying the first 100. Every little move forward counts. And when you start seeing progress, even small progress, that's when hope comes alive. And I'm telling you, once you get that spark of hope, it's contagious. It changes how you think, how you live, how you make decisions. Suddenly, every dollar has a purpose. You stop wondering where your money went and you start telling it where to go. You start building confidence, and confidence creates momentum. That's the key, momentum. Because money is emotional, and when you start seeing that balance drop, that debt shrink, that savings grow, you start to believe again. You start to believe that maybe, just maybe, you can actually win at this. But listen, hope without a plan is just a wish. That's why the second key is simplicity. These steps are simple by design. You don't need a finance degree. You don't need to understand the stock market. You just need to follow the plan, step by step. Too many people overcomplicate money. They chase credit card rewards while drowning in interest. They invest while still in debt. They think they're being smart when in reality they're just spinning their wheels. This plan cuts through all the noise. It gives you one thing to focus on at a time. Because when you focus, you win. And let me be real with you, this isn't just about money. This is about peace. When you've got a pile of bills you can't pay, when collectors are calling, when you and your spouse are arguing about money, that's not just financial stress, that's emotional chaos. And when you follow this plan, what you gain isn't just wealth, it's calm. It's security. It's being able to sleep at night without your mind racing. It's knowing that your kids are going to be okay, that you're not going to retire broke, that you're finally free. That's what this journey is about, freedom. Now, here's the third key, personal responsibility. This plan works when you work. It's not about what your parents did or what your friends are doing or what your boss pays you. It's about ownership. The moment you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility is the moment you take your power back. When you blame others, you hand over your control. But when you say, no, I'm in charge of my life, my money, and my future, that's when the game changes. You don't wait for someone else to rescue you. You rescue yourself. And let me tell you, that's the most empowering feeling in the world. When people finally decide to own their mistakes, they start to win. I've seen single moms dig themselves out of debt. I've seen families go from bankruptcy to millionaires. Not because it was easy, but because they took ownership. They said, enough is enough. And when you make that decision, there's no stopping you. Because at that point, it's not about ability. It's about commitment. And the next key is discipline and consistency. These two words might not sound exciting, but they're the backbone of every success story. Anyone can get excited for a week. Anyone can start strong. But the real winners, they show up when it's boring. They stay focused when the world says, you deserve it, treat yourself, you earned it. They choose the long-term win over the short-term thrill. And that's hard. It's hard to say no to instant gratification. But every time you do, you're saying yes to freedom. Every sacrifice now builds a better future later. When you live with discipline, your money starts obeying you instead of controlling you, and that's when peace enters the picture. I'm going to be honest, discipline doesn't feel good at first. It's like working out. The first few times you hate it. It hurts. But after a while, you start to feel stronger. You start to crave that feeling of control. You start to see results. And then you realize it's worth it. Every skipped night out, every old car you drove, every no you said when everyone else was saying yes, it's all worth it. Because the day will come when you look back and think, I can't believe how far I've come. And finally, the fifth key is transformation, because that's what this is really about. It's not about just managing your money. It's about changing your life. When you start living with purpose, with a plan, with direction, it affects everything. Your relationships get better. Your stress goes down. You start walking taller, talking differently, thinking bigger. You realize you don't have to live like everyone else. You can be weird. You can be different. You can be free. Most people spend their whole lives chasing stuff, cars, houses, clothes, vacations, thinking those things will make them happy. But happiness isn't found in stuff. It's found in peace. It's found in control. It's found in knowing that your money doesn't own you anymore. You own it. And when you reach that point, when you finally have that sense of calm, that's when you realize what this journey is all about. It's about changing your family tree. It's about setting your kids up so they never have to go through the struggle you did. It's about building a legacy of wisdom, not just wealth. So yes, the baby steps will change your money, but they'll also change you. They'll teach you patience, humility, discipline, and gratitude. You'll learn to find joy in progress, not perfection. You'll learn to celebrate the small wins, because every little win means you're one step closer to freedom. And one day, you'll wake up and realize, I did it. I took control of my life. That's the power of these steps. Now, let me tell you something. You don't have to have it all figured out to start. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. One decision, one budget, one payment, one step. That's all it takes to start changing your life. Because once you start, the momentum builds, the confidence grows. And before you know it, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're living on purpose. I've seen people cry tears of joy when they make that last debt payment. I've seen families scream and celebrate when they finally get out of the hole they thought they'd never escape. I've seen hope restored in people's eyes who once thought it was too late. And I'm telling you, it's not too late for you. I don't care where you are right now. I don't care how much debt you have or how many mistakes you've made. You can change. You can win. You can rewrite your story. Because this plan doesn't care about your past. It's focused on your future. The baby steps work because they're based on timeless principles, discipline, focus, and common sense. You don't need luck. You don't need talent, and you don't need a miracle. You just need to decide. Decide that you're done being broke. Decide that you're done living paycheck to paycheck. Decide that your family deserves better. Because when you decide, everything changes. So as we get ready to walk through these 7 steps, I want you to open your mind and your heart. Don't look for shortcuts. Don't try to outsmart the plan. Just trust the process, because this plan has worked for millions of ordinary people just like you. People with kids, jobs, bills, debt, and dreams. They followed it, they stayed consistent, and they won. And if they can do it, so can you. You're about to learn a path that's simple, proven, and powerful. A path that will teach you how to save, get out of debt, build wealth, and give generously. A path that leads to peace, real, lasting peace. Because when you control your money, you control your life. And when you control your life, you can finally live with purpose, confidence, and freedom. So if you're ready, if you're tired of being stuck, if you're ready to trade stress for peace, chaos for clarity, and debt for freedom, then let's get started. Let's take those first steps together. The 7 baby steps. Your roadmap to financial freedom, your pathway to peace, your journey to the life you were meant to live.